Hi guys, welcome to part number 2 about the differences between Norway and Denmark. My name is Sarah, and if you're new here, I make videos about living in Norway, life in Norway, and I also help foreigners get a job in Norway. So if you want my secret tip on that, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. That being said, in this last part, we are going to talk about the big differences about Norway and Denmark when it comes to the tax and the welfare differences, and not least the different mindsets when it comes to Denmark versus Norway. So I hope you're excited about this last part. And if you did not watch part number 1, I highly recommend that first and then watch this part. Okay, without further ado, let's dive into this video. Another big difference from Norway to Denmark is that you pay a lot more taxes in Denmark. So taxes in Denmark can be like 50%. I think it's actually like 48% or something like that. Whereas in Norway, it's like 34, 35%, depending on your life situation. And that goes the same in Denmark, depending on how much you earn and what your life situation is. Your tax will depend on that, but it's not average to pay 34% in tax in Denmark. The taxes are higher than that. So, and how does that affect like the welfare system? So I'll take an example. In Norway, you can go to the university, but you are taking a loan. It's not free. You are taking a loan. And if you are finishing your whole degree, say you're taking a bachelor degree or a master's degree, if you finish it, you get a very decent agreement on the bank loan that you have taken during your study. But you have to pay it back. It is a loan while you are going to the university. In Denmark, when you are going to the university, you get something called SU, and that is a supporting amount of money while you are taking your studies. So I got paid 5,500, I think, when I was going every month. 5,500 kroners each month when I was going at the university in Denmark. And this is money that you get because you are studying at the university and you do not pay it back like they do here in Norway. And so another thing is that if I was going to drop out in the middle of my education in Denmark, I'm not supposed to pay it back to the government. But in Norway, if you are taking an education and you get this very good agreement on the loan that you are taking while you are going at the university, and you decide to drop out, you suddenly don't have this great agreement anymore, and you will have to pay the money back like it was a totally normal loan. So there's a higher consequence in Norway if you drop out at the university. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm talking very like, so if it does not make sense, please let me know, but I'm trying my best to explain it in a simple way. So that is the difference. In Denmark, it's like free to go to the university, while in Norway, you are taking up a loan. It's a good loan agreement with the bank, but it's still a loan. So that's a very big difference. And another big difference is that some dentist services in Norway, while you are growing up, is not free. Whereas in Denmark, if you have to get braces, that's free. As a child, that's free. That's not something you have to pay for yourself. It's also free in Denmark to go to the doctor. It's not free in Norway. You are paying around like 300 Norwegian kroners to go to the doctor. However, if you are pregnant during your whole pregnancy in Norway, you're not paying anything. And I do think that's amazing to do it that way, because that is, I guess it's supposed to make sure that we're not taking any chances when it comes to mothers carrying their baby. If there is anything, they want everyone to come to the doctor. So I do think that's really great. And I'm also going to mention that, say you are going to the doctors 20 times a year in Norway because you have a disease or you have a chronic something something, you're not paying for more than 8. So like if you have spent more like 2,000 Norwegian kroners a year to go to the doctor, it becomes free after that, because you obviously have a disease and it's not your fault, and then the government is going to pay the rest. So I do think this is a great way to do it, because it prevents people from going to the doctors all the time. And I do also think that the amount that you're paying is so low that it's not a problem for people to go to the doctor if they have something that they want the doctor to take a look at. But of course, this is a political debate, and this is just my opinion. But I do think that Norway is actually having a pretty great system for all of this. I do think that in Denmark can be a little too, they are, I'm not going to say naive, but it is at the end of the day what I mean, that Danish politics can be a little naive. And if you have watched, there's a new documentary in Denmark called The Black Swan, which is revealing a lot of truths about how the whole system in Denmark is working when it comes to a lot of criminal stuff. And I'm not going to draw any parallels here, but I'm just going to say that there are criminals in Denmark who are laughing their ass off because they are not paying any taxes. They are just fooling the whole system. That's pretty much what the Black Swan is all about. Criminals who are fooling the system and just kind of taking advantage of the whole system. So, but once again, I'm not going to say that what's right or wrong here. I have no numbers or statistics about the Danish politics versus the Norwegian one, but I do really think that Norway has a lot of good things into their politics when it comes to Denmark. So another big difference is that of course, you have the welfare system that is kind of different because you pay more tax in Denmark than in Norway. And then you also actually have, when it comes to the welfare system, you are paying to drive on the roads. You know, so if you are driving through a big tunnel through a mountain, you are paying a certain amount. So it can be like 100 Norwegian kroners, it can be 200 Norwegian kroners. Like they even have a tunnel here in Norway that we were driving through with a roundabout. So that tunnel was pretty expensive to drive through. But I mean, I guess it makes sense since they have so much mountains and stuff. It does make sense that they have to get more money and, you know, to actually make these roads. And also, you know, the people who is using the roads the most is paying more. And in some way, I do believe that's fair. However, I do know that when it comes to companies paying this fee, it can be kind of a challenge, especially if it's companies that is dependent on traveling a lot back and forth. This amount can be very big. So do know that that can be a challenge. But other than that, as a private person, I do think it's totally fair that we pay money to drive on the roads because it is something that we are very dependent on. And I will say that they are really having an eye on the roads here. I mean, they are constantly making roads better. Maybe not where I live right now. I am going to say that because I live on the country. Very specific. I live in Øvrebø in Vennesla. So if you are a political person watching this right now, please make the roads better here where I live. But overall, I will say that, wow, they are really doing a good job on the roads here in Norway. Okay, enough talk about the welfare system. Now I want to talk about the culture. Like, what is some of the big cultural differences between Norway and Denmark? And in Denmark, they are amazing at chilling, and they have this, or we have this word called hygge, and that translated, that is just like cozy, chill, like we're chilling, we're cozying. That is the word, and that is something that Danish people are very much doing and are good at. So it just means that when we are having dinner or we're having lunch or breakfast or we are watching a movie, Danish people are very good at making it cozy, and that is all from the furniture to the food to the people who are just chill and relaxed, and it's just the whole atmosphere that is really chill in Denmark, really. And that kind of goes along, with the tolerant alcohol politics. We are serving a beer, we are serving chocolate, we are baking a cake, we are making it cozy, and that is a plus to people in Denmark, and maybe one of the things that I miss the most, because that's just such a great feeling to sit with your family and have a cozy time. In Norway, Norwegians, on the other hand, are very good at doing stuff, like going on a hike in the nature, or going fishing, or going on a camping trip, or doing this and that. And I guess it does make sense since they have amazing nature to go canoeing or kayaking. I don't know the word, but it's just amazing to do those things here because of the beautiful nature. It's not that nature is not beautiful in Denmark, because I really do believe that it is. I guess it just creates a bigger need or a bigger feeling of wanting to go out in nature here in Norway than in Denmark. And that is also one of the things that I love about living in Norway, because I love doing stuff. I get very restless if I'm supposed to sit still for many hours, which is sometimes the case in Denmark. They're sitting still, they're eating, and they're having a good, cozy time. But sometimes it can be too much. My boyfriend, he jokes about that when we are visiting my family in Denmark, he's so full, and all he feels like he's done is that he has eaten. So that tells a little bit about the culture. The last difference I'm going to mention here, the difference between Norway and Denmark, is that Denmark is a little bit more modern at, I will say, at clothing, fashion, politics, everything pretty much. Denmark is more modern, whereas Norway is more traditional and more conservative, I guess. And I don't know if this is also because that Denmark is part of the European Union, and Denmark has to follow along at some things and can't just be like, nope, we're doing it this way, whereas Norway can do that because they're more independent. Norway is part of a EØS agreement, so I guess Norway can't really do everything exactly just the way they want, but a lot of things. They can set the agenda themselves and they can decide whether they want to do this or not. So I guess that this independence means that Norway can do it their own way. And like I said, I do like the way that Norway is actually running the country. I do think that it is a good way, and a lot of examples of that it's a better way. I will say that. I do like the way Norway has its politics. I just do. Um, yeah, so I'm going to make that the last word in this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!